Hello, everybody. My name is Trollmaker,
And I'm Rangroot.
and this is the 3v3 Tournament of Glorious Design.
Indeed, it is. Today we are playing on the map Upseller with PLF versus KOD Knights. On NATO's side, we have PLF with SikkeSakke, Sepsi77, and Judgemann.
And for the pack players, we have the Keepers of Darkness, that could be their name, KOD Dark Knights, and we have Zero, Walter, Mitty, and Subversive.
Indeed, we do. We have another NATO unpacked engagement. I'm really starting to lose hope of a NATO and NATO match.
Yeah, there just doesn't feel like they're ever going to happen. Just too many pack players, and the tournament format is very interesting because since everyone plays everyone, you can jump to your next matches very quickly. So, I mean, the first 2 weeks of this tournament, we're going to be posting a ton of content.
Yeah, probably daily. I know on my channel I'm probably going to be doing these dailies now instead of bi-daily.
Yeah.
Because it's just so much.
And
we're going to do the same format as before, as you might have noticed. Where one person posts and the other guy does a trailer, just to save time.
Yeah, because we actually don't have enough time in the day to render...
Do the same thing.
Yeah, like 20 hours worth of video each what it ends up being per week.
Yeah, which is an awful bloody lot. Yeah, it's a little bit too much for our minds. So off the bat, we have Judgemann on the left side getting some helicopters, some HKPs, and oh my god, a KOD 0 and Mitty has a lot of MI-24s and MI-2s, and even MI-8s thrown in the mix to move up. And Subversive getting some MI-25s, probably for Darskies inside.
Now, one thing to note right off the bat, when you look at PLF, they have 2 forward operating bases. And then when you look at KOD, they have 3.
Yeah. So PLF going to be spending a little bit less on FOBs at the start, saving a little bit of money compared to KOD.
Extra few points will matter, and I mean, right now FOBs, there's not really a lot of room for actually having some real supply lines. Like, it's almost more worthwhile to just get an extra 2 or 3 supply cards.
Yeah.
And the FOBs are mostly for short-range routes like artillery and resupplying your helicopters if you want to keep them around.
Yeah, but really I have to say, it's just a matter of preference. Some people like FOBs, some people don't. It's like Marmite. Some people love Marmite, some people despise it. But in the end of the day, it is Marmite, and Marmite does taste pretty good in my book.
What the hell is Marmite?
It's like a spreading sauce you put over butter. It's quite nice. So right off the bat, we have ultimately gonna bunt. Oh god, there's a lot of packed interceptors. I'm not even surprised anymore.
Yeah. It's just the new metagame. It's like, just, surprise, all the MiGs in the world.
Yep, whole Soviet Air Force versus like one Tomcat and a Phantom.
I feel kind of bad for NATO players, actually, because in the current game setup, their Tomcats and their Wild Weasels, they just assumed they had complete air domination, and so they didn't bring out a lot of units, and now, like, I mean, they just picked off 3 jet fighters.
Yeah, just like, yeah, crazy.
And I don't think KOD's the best team, or they weren't. They can develop into one over the tournament. But dear God, their individual micro of these MiGs has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's just great work here, shutting down the helicopters and the planes. That's also the best thing about his interceptors. They can shoot down helicopters very effectively because those short-range missiles can fire very fast. So it's great for stopping helicopter losses now, says Rye. That's probably where we've seen a lot more packed players because of those MiGs starting to develop over.
And KOD's doing really, really good. They got napalm down the middle, weakening down those Grizzlies. 80 plus napalmers. I don't know what's going to be inside. Looks like it's going to be the Genies.
Genie decombat.
And they got into position. They should be able to napalm the road. 20 sappers joining the fray, and it's just going to be a lot of fire.
Yeah, lots and lots of fire on the dance floor.
In fact, we have another 40 sappers coming in to join the fray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one of these weird things where you know that every single one of those units is gonna die. Like,
Very morbid, but okay.
Yeah, it's just like Firefly, the Batman villain. He's addicted to the one thing that'll always kill him: fire. And a slight advantage in the napalm should go to Pact, even though they have less. They have more spread out.
Yeah, they have it very spread out. Indeed. PLF moving up all the way into India. It's what are you doing, KOD? Where's your units in India? Oh my!
Lord.
Oh my!
Not even a command here. That's a 2-point base.
If they capture India, it's gonna be a very rocky match for KOD.
I mean, they're only sending empty vehicles. There's, you know, like a couple of VABs here, but nothing really big. And
just the information should be enough.
Well, they can go straight into Juliet from here and take it a 3-point base. That would be brutal.
That'd be crazily cool. That kind of sad
mistake.
In the center of the town, a bunch of fire still being used, pretty even. It does seem NATO again a little bit more of an advantage. You have a lot of infantry inside of town now.
Except for this one Commandoski squad, which was pretty well positioned to pick off a few tanks along the road. There's not really any of those like really potent, strong mainline infantry pushed forward yet. It's all anti-infantry squads just right now.
Yeah, indeed. That CV, water meter CV going into India is going to get probably killed by a VAB. Can it kill it? Yeah, the second VAB going to go into intercept. And Sepsi moving up some Grizzlies to deal with the UAZ in Juliet.
This is going to give PLF a pretty good window to get some points here. Bleeding out at +2. It's going to take a while before they can get another commando because they have to get rid of all these VABs and actually that's all they have to get rid of. The rest, the Grizzlies as well.
Yeah, but if they can, I really wish they move up some units into India PLF. If they want to take advantage of their window, get some paratrooper infantry into the little town. Oh, yes, I can do that. Oh, no, it's packed. Get some paratrooper infantry into the little town, yeah. A few tanks and AA, and they could have India locked down easily.
And a command tank.
Effort. And a command tank, just to be safe.
But, I mean, they're about to take out Juliet here. Nothing stopping this. They have no vision in the area. The Grizzlies moving up, and it'll be a slow, rotten death.
Oh, God. And that's going to give them a +5 advantage. Oof. What is it? This Grizzly just on a path of destruction.
It's a shame because it looked like KOD had a really, really good opener.
They just didn't put anything into India. They spent all their money on their air power and their infantry power into the middle. They didn't think the enemy might move up into India, which was quite a risky strategy. Quite a risky bet.
It's kind of like how a lot of NATO players, because NATO has really good air units, how they'll invest in a lot of freedom fighters because they can do a little bit of anti-air damage for the beginning, but they also can come in later into this middle game area and just defend really well and attack forces, and that's really a type of fighter that they don't really have. They're all air superiority fighters.
Also, another good NATO fighter would be to use the Canadian Starfighter. Has a 6 short-range Sidewinder missiles, which is quite good at dealing with those pesky MiG-20 runs and MiG-23s and anything that starts with an M.
And his Grizzlies kill list just continues to go up. He's moved into Hotel now. He's going to potentially get this UAZ. There's stuff to defend here, but it's all autocannon.
Yeah, he's just bypassing the ZSUs. Oh, God, he might get... Oh, MiG-23 coming to save the day.
Finally playing to be useful. But yeah, this is getting very, very bad very, very quickly. Bleeding +7 for probably too long. +5 is bad enough. They don't have ground forces.
Yeah.
This map is very, very blue right now.
Very blue at the moment, and that's not just because of the water.
Yes.
I had to make that joke.
La-ti-da, Mr. High-End Graphics card in your blue water. That ripples, I bet.
It ripples quite nicely.
But there's a lot of cool lessons to learn. Like, they are doing a lot of cool stuff, KOD. Like, they're probably too much investment in the air, but at the same time, they did win the air war, and their micro is very good. They have these FJBs at the northwest that are just in such a really stellar position. If they could replicate that every single game, that would be sickening.
Because those FJBs are a brilliant unit to have as they are the all-around unit. It can engage any target from aircraft to tanks. Indeed, if he can get some spotting information, or heck, if he can move it across that bridge and get into Bravo, that'd be quite killer.
This is going to start normalizing. Looks like there will be a command in Juliet and one going for India.
Yep.
And NATO really didn't take advantage of that open India, unfortunately.
Yeah, India is open up for the take-in, but they didn't really move up anything. I think they're a little bit too bogged down in Foxtrot and Echo, and I think it didn't really expect that India would be completely unguarded. So, yeah. But they did manage to gain a lot of points that time span.
Yeah, just ridiculous amounts of sappers out front, just decimating any infantry that comes forward. SikkeSakke does have 40 of these genies just set up to napalm like crazy.
Yup, the genie to combat, but in infantry. I
have also officially tried to forget about pronouncing French names.
Riri.
You think that whereas I'm bilingual, that would mean that I can actually speak French, but no, I cannot.
Kind of like me with any single German. Basically anything that isn't British, or mainly Scandinavian names. Very hard to pronounce, because there's a lot of weird symbols on top of letters that really shouldn't have those symbols in the normal English language.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what happened. And this is just my conspiracy theory. I'm also an anti-patent guy. Everyone named their Navy SEALs and Navy SEALs, but then the Americans came along and said, no, that's copyrighted. And the British took the SAS, and everyone else took all the good names, and the Swedes and the Norwegians came years after, and well, what's left for us? And it's well, there's this big giant macro word left.
Let's use it.
That's all right. Now, we have patent on this, correct? Yes, you do.
Yep. And a little bit of a stalemate at the moment. Both sides really fighting quite fiercely for that town in middle. It has been going back and forth in ownership. I think NATO might get slight advantage. They do have the surround all the way in Foxtrot of mortar runs.
Yeah, looks like 3 napalm clouds down, so there's no real opportunity for them to reinforce this region. But
indeed.
No one has enough advantage right now to actually put a command down here, and that's what it's all about. Plopping down that command. And, yeah.
It's just lots of fire. Lots of fire. Both sides really enjoying that napalm.
I really thought with the patch that napalm would just go away, but it's actually come back in fiercer numbers.
In fiercer density.
It feels like it should have been like a commercial, do you like napalm? Now with infantry and vehicles.
Coming to a town near you. That's gonna be burned down pretty soon.
Oh god.
Now I really want to make fake commercials for War Game.
Do you like mountains? How about mountains with fire?
Does it look like a claw or a volcano?
You vote decide on new TMZ. No, they've got napalm all over the map. It's
crazy.
Yeah, a little kooky. There's one command moving up here for NATO. They might try and start some bleeding again.
I think I'm trying to capture the Echo point, holding that little forest in the Echo area, and try to do the bleeding. It can put a CV in Foxtrot very easily. They do have good control over the little part of Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Also, very good use of his Raven. Oh, never mind, the Raven just got shot down, but good use in shooting down like the 2 ZSUs. But I did see NATO bring in a few of those buggers. And it almost actually killed one of their own AA. Raven crashed right next to the tracked rapier.
Well, getting into the mid game, like NATO has maybe 2 anti-air vehicles. When you look to the pack side, they have Books, they have OSAs, all being deployed, and they're just. I don't entirely understand why you'd have in a typical anti-air network. Why would you have 2 radar-based type units that are all going to be packed together?
You mean like how Osis and Bucks are at the moment?
Yeah.
They are pretty tight.
I think that would just be a really good opportunity for SEAD fighters to just, wreck all of them one by one.
Yeah, and also artillery, Rich, is what NATO's taking advantage of now. Yeah, they don't really have their AA very well hidden, so you might want to move that sometimes. I do see what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep it as close to the town as possible so he can shoot down any napalm bombers, aka Phantoms, that NATO do try and bring up.
But I mean, they have the MiGs. That's the thing. They have MiGs to deal with that.
Yeah.
So it seems very redundant. As PLF begins bleeding out KOD again.
And it seems like KOD trying to move up into Echo, a BMP and T-55 force. A bunch of craptastic units all moving up. I think Zero's playing a 75 deck. It definitely looks like Zero's playing a 75 mix deck, because he has T-64s, SU-21, SU-122s, Strela AA, and MA-4s as his attack helicopters. So yeah, if someone's playing the 75 in a tournament setting, I have to approve of that.
Well, it does give you like the ridiculous card numbers and the ridiculous reinforcement or supply numbers.
Yeah, and especially if those planes, because you saw how many planes they had off in the back. That had to be 75 helping out, yeah.
Yeah, the KOD, they gotta take a lot of notes. Just right off the bat, you look at the start of this match, I talked with the FOBs. You look at the 3 FOBs, they're all full. Every single one of them.
Yep, haven't hardly been touched. And same with PLFs. They're also trying to use them a little bit for resupply.
Yeah, they've actually had some pretty stellar resupply lines, but they clearly don't need the 2 of them. Maybe only the 1 would have been sufficient.
Yeah. We do have a point. Yeah, PLF's bleeding once, or bleeding the enemy once again. Already at 400 points, just 200 more, and they will gain themselves a victory.
Yeah, and there's a small push up by KOD here. Looks like it's mostly getting cleaned out because they're facing off against the Abrams. Which, I don't know if they told you this, but the Abram was actually designed by God to kill scumbag communists who are trying to take American values.
That sounds awfully American of you, and you're Canadian. I'm slightly confused.
America.
Slightly.
No, I'm just kidding. They did you hear they're gonna get rid of all the Sea Kings next year?
They are?
Yeah, finally.
That's Chinook, isn't it? The smaller Chinook.
Well, it's it's the submarine killer.
Ah.
Yeah, they're 50 years old, and I don't mean like they were designed 50 years ago. I mean the actual vehicles, the actual helicopters are 50 years old.
Oh, bloody hell!
And they're finally going to put them away.
I remember reading in Afghanistan, they're gonna all the MRAPs that they brought, they're just gonna sell them off in Afghanistan for scrap metal.
Like the Canadian Air Force, this game kind of shows is kind of a joke. Like, it's a good thing they're finally deciding to modernize it. But it's a shame that with Red Dragon coming around, that they're not going to modernize their navy for that.
They're not going to.
Well, Canada isn't. No.
Oh.
Submarines. 1970s submarines.
It's a little bit old.
Yeah, nothing to show off. small last-minute push-up here with, well, not a small push-up. It's like 100 modal shell keys, getting to a good position to wipe out, to plant a command, so they can cancel at that point. But probably won't be enough.
Yeah, probably won't be enough indeed. Just fighting over that town back and forth. Does seem like Data getting a bit of the advantage now into Foxtrot. Pack trying to take it away from him, but not too much avail.
Well, you know where the command is. That's a big thing.
I feel sorry for that BRDM too. It's dodging artillery cells like crazy. Hasn't been hit yet.
And it's all a matter of like when they can get a bomber out to hit it. Or if they can, I guess.
If they can.
They've been losing a lot of bombers to these Books and these Osas.
Osas.
Which, once again, very weird positioning. If NATO had a single anti-radar fighter in their deck, which I'm guessing they don't have.
They did, but you mean they had the Raven, but that got swapped down.
Right.
Yeah. So, probably even an Aardvark just carpet bomb that whole place, Kingdom Come.
But it shouldn't matter too much. We're 452 out of 600.
Into the match.
Minus a little bit of leg.
And, managing to get back to town with a bunch of Safaris and Russian Marines. I wonder if they're, like, pretty low in infantry cards now, because it's been just a slugfest in this town. An absolute slugfest, which is mainly how Uppsala plays every single time. So I wonder how many infantry both sides have really brought up.
I know, like, no unit, they do minimum 2 players go with ridiculous amounts of infantry, just because I don't think they're playing anymore. I think they're done until ESL, and they're not in this tournament. But they would play, 2 people with high amounts of infantry, just because every single tactic revolved around having a ridiculous amount of infantry.
And having a town just credit strategic importance, because as I always say, it's a pain in the arse to get infantry out of Gauss and Darius. An absolute pain in the arse. That BRDM getting a little bit attacked by the Mountaineers, but only by the M60 out of Dragon 2 ammo.
Completely out of those rockets, unfortunately.
Having to try and kill it with 7.62. And it is slowly but slowly chipping it off. AMX coming in to finish it off. Make 20 run, going on that run lone, poor git.
This will be the French unit's only time to shine. Poor French units.
Yeah. I love your tanks, yet I hate them because they have no armor, but I love them because their gun is so great and they have no autocannon. And autocannons are just cool. It's such a good weapon overall, autocannons. But because they don't have armor, they die really easily to every single packed ATGM that they can field.
Yeah, I tried playing around with the French for a while, and it's really, really hard.
Yeah, they're great in the supporting role, but in the frontal assault role, leave that to rest Germany and America. And Britain. They're a lot better at it by miles.
And, back to +2, command gone now.
KOD doing some sneaky MI2 stuff in the bottom.
Like, this is a really, actually, a rare opportunity for these French tanks to be able to do something, because they're so fast. They're so... they can deal so much bursty damage. They could have actually just moved around the side and flanked all of those air units in such a bad way.
Yeah.
But they don't know what's in that forest. They don't have anything there, so for all they know, it could be bad stuff.
Very, like 40 ATUs waiting for them to pop out.
But here's where they're getting used. There's 2 BMPs firing on a Leopard heavy tank, and they just jumped in from outside the jungle to pick it off. And, you know, if they decide to move back in,
they can do so quite easily.
Very easily, yeah.
Hit and run. It's great use for... That's actually really good use for French tankers. Judgemann is using hit and run strategies. Poke in and get out. Attack like an ostrich. And SikkeSakke moving up into the town once again to verse Marines. He's going to try and neutralize the point for himself, or get rid of the infantry in that town mainly. PLF very close to Rinnin.
Some days I'm almost certain you must be from Australia. I mean, It felt like you were about to say like attack like an emu, and then you're like ostrich.
Ostrich. Fight like a kangaroo.
Did I say koala? I meant grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear. Just a bunch of... Oh, there's some sort of artillery and there was boots and osas. I believe this is a bunch of mortars. Yes, there's a bunch of... Oh, bloody hell, that's 8 Panther mortars between SikkeSakke and Judgemann. Good God, that is a lot of... That's a lot of firepower.
Yes, and I mean, they have the constant resupply routes. Like, you can see, like, these supply trucks are everywhere. And they're just going back, filling up. That by itself is pretty micro-intensive while paying attention to these battles.
Yeah. Because it takes quite a bit to resupply and to select your unit, fast move to the FOB, shift click, fast move again to the front lines. And having to do that for maybe like 5 resupply trucks is a pain in the ass.
I'll tell you, one poor choice for anyone who's starting the game is like actually keeping the default keys, because the fast move default is like the semicolon.
And that's... You're not going to press that.
That's weird.
Like, I know I have my fast move to caps lock.
That's smart. I put mine in the tab, and if my alt key gets stuck, I just minimize.
And yeah, it does seem like PLF are going to be winning this round today.
There's like a last ditch of cavalry tanks coming in to try and do something, but they might not even arrive in time, and I don't think they will.
Yeah, it was BMP 685 is going to be late to the party, as the party has ended, and PLF are the victors of the match. Again, the blood, yeah, that's a good KOD.
So that's like our first, day of recording. Who do you feel is ahead today?
I have to say Red Chieftain. They surprised me quite a bit. Not just with the names, but with their playstyle.
And they're packed.
It's
a handicap by itself if they play NATO, dear God.
Yeah, but damn, just good match from PLF. Nice KOD offensive at the start of those interceptors. They did leave their flanks a little bit too open.
Yeah, there's no real follow-up, unfortunately.
Yeah. After that, one great all-in.
Okay, so I guess this is our end-day wrap-up. What matches do you think that people should watch? Must see.
Probably the Red Chieftain run versus bloody SKD. That was pretty good, seeing him just roll right through, just being very aggressive. That's probably one of my favourite matches to just watch, because it completely caught me off guard on how they just moved up so aggressively.
And I'm going to recommend the other Red Chieftains game with it was PLF.
Yeah, it was PLF, I believe.
And that was absolutely phenomenal as well. For anyone loading pack, like, these guys are just... They're trolls. We're aware of that. But they're pretty good.
Yeah. And with that, it's all we have time for. I'm Rangry.
And I'm Trollmaker.
Take it easy.